All right, guys, so today I'm comparing two different lights from Streamlight. This is the TLR 7 HLX and the TLR 1 HLX. HLX, I assume, just means high intensity and rechargeable because TLR makes a 7 and an A and an X, and a 7 being a rechargeable version. The 7 is a 500 lumen light, at least the 7A and 7X are. And the TLR 7 HLX, which is one of the lights we're looking at today, that's this one here that I have fitted on my Hellcat Pro. And Streamlight claims that it's 1,000 lumens at 22,000 candela. So that's pretty damn bright and pretty damn concealable. This is the 7A that I have, and I've been running for a long time, the 500 lumen one. And then you have the 7 HLX. It is a little bit longer, so the holster compatibility is not exactly the same. Here on my dagger, I have the TLR 1 HLX from Streamlight. This one is a much larger size. It's almost the same size as the TLR 1 from Streamlight, but the TLR 1 HL, same thing. The TLR 1 HL gives you about 1,000 lumens. The TLR 1 HLX gives you 1,000 lumens if you're using the standard CR123 batteries, but it actually gives you 1,500 lumens if you're using the rechargeable batteries, denoting the X. And we're gonna check these out. It's 4 in the morning, nobody's up, and it's still dark. So we're gonna look at them side by side and see which one shows a difference between the HLX, the TLR 1 HLX and the TLR 7 HLX. Because I'm actually interested. This is a big light, a lot of light. I want to know if it's worth carrying, especially we're talking about for duty, obviously. I would carry this for duty more than likely, and not so much concealed carry. But the TLR 7 has been a go-to for concealed carry for me, and I can't imagine why a little bit more light bevel is gonna give me a fit for concealed carry when we're talking about the TLR 7 HLX, because it's really not that much light, not that much more light, and it's pretty streamlined, just like the 7 is. So real quick as well, we should talk about runtime. Runtime on the TLR 7 HLX says 30 minutes for the SLB9s, which would be the rechargeable version, and 1.5 hours for the CR123s. However, if you're running a CR123 out of your HLX, you're only going to get 500 candela. I'm sorry, 500 lumens and 11,000 candela. So, and this even says that you're going to get a lesser distance of throw. But I guess the point is it really comes down to the battery. Yeah, the battery allows the light to give off the power output. But ultimately, if you're not running the rechargeable battery in one of these HLXs, you're not going to get the power output that you could achieve otherwise. I digress. Going back to the TLR 1 HLX, 1,500 lumens with the rechargeable battery, 20,000 candela, 283 meters of throw, and a runtime of 1 hour. 1 hour compared to 30 minutes, and 5,000 more, excuse me, 500 more lumens. That's not bad. If you're running a CR123, you're getting 1,000 lumens, 15 candela, 245 meters of throw, and an hour and a half of runtime. So is the TLR 1 HLX going to be much greater in terms of performance on the Streamlights? I don't know. And it's a noticeable size difference. So let's take these things out here and look at them. I've got a dark backyard, and it's about 45 meters from the shed, or 45 yards from the shed, and we'll take a look at them side by side, and we'll even compare them to the old 7A and see which one is better. All right, so we're about 40, maybe 45 yards most from my shed. I've got a little bit of ambient light from my garage. I can't really kick that off. Well, there it goes by itself. So here we are, about 45 yards away, TLR 7. I'm going to show you guys the TLR 7 HLX. And then last but not least, the TLR 1 HLX. All right, so again, that's my shed. And then I'm going to show you guys a really dark point that you can't see. This is the dog crate, or the dog kennel rather. And then we're going to have the TLR 7 up again. The TLR 7 HLX. And the TLR 1 HLX. All right, so here I'm going to put the TLR 7 HLX on the left side and the TLR 1 HLX on the right side. So here we go, 7. Here we go, 1. Here we go, 7. Here we go, 1. All right, so comparing these two lights, I mean, it is kind of hard to tell, especially at the distance that we're at. We're talking 40 yards at best. And this is, again, this is kind of the background. I'm just going to give it one last shot here. That way you can kind of see it from my point of view. TLR 7 HLX. All right, we're going to skip over to the TLR 1 HLX. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's a little bit lighter out here than it was. So, I mean, this kind of goes to show candela a little bit. If you can see it, I don't know. But in my thought, I can see that the candela, being like the hot spot, is just a little bit brighter on the TLR 7 HLX. And then your spill is a little bit better for your TLR 1 HLX. What does that mean? Well, I would imagine that if I really wanted to fucking blind somebody, I'm going to use, well, either one of these lights, frankly. But the higher candela kind of helps with that focused beam effect if you're really trying to disorientate or blind someone. So the 7 HLX would be perfect for a defensive measure, especially because of how small it is, right? Like it's got a really small footprint. It's thin, it's sleek. I mean, it'd be super easy to conceal. However, if I'm running if I'm like want a duty light, I want a massive amount of spill because there's a fucking huge scene. I don't know what's going on. I want to see as much as possible, but I also want to really illuminate the area. TLR 1 HLX. I mean, it's got a whole lot of spill, a lot of lumens. The run time isn't super long, so that's concerning to me. Well, I think it said 30 minutes. I could be wrong. I'm just kind of going back to memory, but something we consider, something to consider. Maybe having a spare change of batteries if you're doing the TLR 1 HLX for duty. I would keep a spare set of batteries in the car. The rechargeable ones, though, not that bullshit CR123s. Give me 1,000 lumens that I could just be carrying a TLR1 with, right? Anyway, all right, thanks for watching. This is Lethal Engagement Solutions. If you need a holster for any of these lights or gun setup and you don't see it on my site, hit me up. We can do something custom. You guys have a great day.